And the U isn't the only school working to make its campus safer. News specialist Brittany Glas is here with us today to break that down for us, because there are several across the state.
Yeah, there are 8 state universities, and in large part, they're making those moves because they have to. The public outcry following the U's handling of McCluskey's death prompted legislative change at the Capitol. We all know Senate Bill 134. The law requires Utah's 8 public state universities to draft campus safety plans and report back to the legislature. Those were due back in July. But we wanted to see how those plans are working and what more is being done. We checked all 8, and the results varied. We found most schools offering some sort of the required trainings, the majority being an online class or two. But looking at Utah State University specifically, USU says they've trained over 7,000 students at this point. Utah State went so far as to make it mandatory for students, or else they drop their classes. That's a big deal.
Yeah, talk more about that, because yeah, you don't really hear about that, at schools.
No, it's a huge deal. I mean, it's a consequence, right? Students want to be enrolled in their classes. So if students this year don't get that training done within the next week or so, their fall 2019 classes are dropped for the current semester. The university says there has to be a cultural shift to make a real difference.
We really can't change the culture of our campus unless we talk about it, unless we have students talking about it, unless people are engaged in the conversation around sexual misconduct, around respect. If they are talking about consent, that means that they're applying it in their everyday lives, and that's what we want to see.
So why is it that Utah State in particular is kind of going above and beyond what the requirement?
Well, I have my suspicions, my guesses, if you will. You'll remember that Utah State has had some high-profile sexual assault cases in the spotlight. I mean, take, for example, Tori Green, the former USU football player, sentenced to more than 20 years for the sex assaults of 6 women. USU started surveying students on campus safety back in 2017. Shortly after those attacks, they ranged from 2013 to 2017. Now, survey results show their campaigns are actually working.
We did a lot of campaigns, we did a lot of education. More students knew how to report sexual misconduct, and a lot more knew how to seek services and to find confidential help as well. We also realized that just between the 2 years that we did our surveys, we were able to move the dial on students who expected others in their peer groups to exhibit good bystander behavior.
And all of these universities, all 8, have to actually present to the state legislature next month. So the plans were due back in July, but now they actually have to go and report back to lawmakers.
Right. And so does that include, it's just the campus or the university leaders?
Right. Ultimately, just trying to provide concrete evidence, we imagine. And again, this is the first time, right? This is new legislation, Senate Bill 134. So it remains to be seen exactly how in-depth that report is back to the legislature, because there are some federal, already mandated requirements. But this is on the state level. It's totally new. Right.
And you can see, at a place like the University of Utah campus, where the students just are not satisfied with it at this point. But Utah State, one example of kind of going beyond what was required.
Right, and I think it's just that comfort, making certain that your university is looking out for you as a student. That's crucial, especially after something like this happens.
Right. All right, Brittany Glas, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. You can get that full story tonight at 10 o'clock.
6 o'clock and then 10 o'clock again. We'll have some additional coverage.
All right, great.